What happens if you pour Epsom salt water into your peach tree? It is a question that divides gardeners, with some swearing it creates the sweetest fruit imaginable and others warning it could be the fastest way to kill your harvest. The truth lies somewhere in the middle, hidden in the delicate balance of soil chemistry and plant biology. If you get the ratio right, you might unlock a level of flavor and vigor your tree has been missing, but if you get it wrong, you risk irreversible damage to the root system. Stay with me, because today we are going to separate the internet myths from horticultural science so you can make the best decision for your orchard. Before we dive into the chemistry and the step-by-step application guide, I want to invite you to join our growing community of practical growers. If you appreciate honest, science-backed gardening advice that cuts through the noise and helps you grow better food, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We share real-world growing tips every single week, and having you here makes this journey so much more rewarding. Now let's get back to your peach trees and find out exactly what is happening when that white powder hits the soil. To understand whether Epsom salt is a miracle worker or a mistake, we first have to look at exactly what it is. There is a massive misconception in the gardening world that Epsom salt is the same thing as table salt or sea salt. It is not. Table salt is sodium chloride, and pouring that on your peach tree would almost certainly be a death sentence due to sodium toxicity. Epsom salt is chemically known as magnesium sulfate heptahydrate. When you dissolve it in water, it dissociates into three distinct components: magnesium ions, sulfate ions, and water molecules. Each of these plays a specific role in plant physiology. Magnesium is the star player here. It is a secondary macronutrient, meaning plants need it in significant quantities, though less than nitrogen, phosphorus, or potassium. Chemically, magnesium sits at the absolute center of the chlorophyll molecule. Without magnesium, a plant literally cannot construct chlorophyll, which means it cannot photosynthesize. Think of magnesium as the engine block of the plant's energy factory. Without it, the entire metabolic process grinds to a halt. Beyond chlorophyll, magnesium acts as an activator for over 300 different enzymes within the plant. It is essential for protein synthesis, phosphate metabolism, and the transport of sugars from the leaves to the developing fruit. When a plant has adequate magnesium, its cellular respiration is efficient, and its ability to move carbohydrates to storage organs like peaches is maximized. The second component, sulfate, is equally important but often overlooked. Sulfur is a primary constituent of amino acids like cysteine and methionine, which are the building blocks of proteins. In fruit trees specifically, sulfur is critical for the formation of volatile compounds that create aroma and flavor. A peach might be large and juicy, but without sufficient sulfur, it can taste flat and watery. Sulfur also plays a vital role in enzyme function and vitamin production within the plant tissue. Furthermore, the sulfate ion helps improve nutrient uptake efficiency. It acts synergistically with other cations, helping the roots absorb calcium and potassium more effectively. However, unlike magnesium, sulfur is generally abundant in most soils and organic matter, making true sulfur deficiency far rarer than magnesium deficiency. The third component is simply the water itself, which serves as the delivery vehicle, but the hydration aspect matters too. Dissolving Epsom salt creates a solution with a specific osmotic potential. This means the concentration of dissolved minerals affects how easily water moves across root membranes. This is why the chemical composition must be understood before application. You are not just adding nutrients, you are altering the physical environment of the rhizosphere. Understanding this chemical profile prevents us from treating Epsom salt as a generic fertilizer. It is a targeted supplement, not a complete meal. It provides two specific elements and nothing else. There is no nitrogen for leafy growth, no phosphorus for root development, and no calcium for cell wall strength. It is purely a magnesium and sulfur delivery system, and that distinction is everything when we consider what a peach tree actually needs to thrive. Now that we know what is in the bottle, we have to look at what the peach tree is asking for. Peach trees are heavy feeders with very specific nutritional demands that change throughout their life cycle. They are stone fruits, which means they require robust mineral nutrition to support both vegetative growth and the dense, sugary flesh of the fruit. The primary macronutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, are the foundation. Nitrogen drives the spring flush and canopy development. Phosphorus supports root establishment and flower bud differentiation. Potassium regulates stomatal opening, water balance, and sugar translocation into the fruit. If any of these are deficient, no amount of Epsom salt will save your tree. You cannot supplement your way out of a foundational deficit. However, once those basics are covered, secondary nutrients become the limiting factor for quality. This is where magnesium enters the conversation for peach trees specifically. Peaches are notoriously sensitive to magnesium levels. During the fruit-filling stage, the tree mobilizes massive amounts of nutrients from older leaves to supply the developing drupes. Magnesium is mobile within the plant, meaning the tree will cannibalize lower, older leaves to push magnesium into new growth and fruit if soil levels are insufficient. This manifests as interveinal chlorosis, where the tissue between leaf veins turns yellow while the veins remain green, starting at the bottom of the canopy and moving upward. For a peach grower, this is a red flag. It means the tree is robbing itself to feed the fruit, potentially weakening next year's bud set and reducing overall tree longevity. Peach trees also have a high demand for calcium, which works in direct partnership with magnesium. Calcium builds strong cell walls, preventing issues like bitter pit and improving fruit firmness and shelf life. Herein lies the biological connection to Epsom salt. Magnesium and calcium compete for uptake sites on the root surface. If your soil is already high in calcium but low in magnesium, the calcium can actually block magnesium absorption, creating a functional deficiency even if magnesium is present in the soil test. Conversely, if you add Epsom salt to soil that is already balanced or low in calcium, you can induce a calcium deficiency by flooding the uptake sites with magnesium. This antagonistic relationship is why understanding your peach tree's total nutrient profile is non-negotiable. Additionally, peach trees grown in sandy soils or heavily leached acidic soils are prime candidates for magnesium deficiency because Mg ions do not bind tightly to soil particles and wash away with rain. Trees in alkaline, clay-heavy soils may have plenty of magnesium locked up and unavailable due to pH issues. In these cases, adding Epsom salt to the soil surface might be useless because the existing soil chemistry prevents uptake. Foliar application bypasses the soil entirely, delivering magnesium directly to the leaves where it is needed most urgently during fruit fill. So, does your peach tree need Epsom salt? Only if it needs magnesium or sulfur specifically. If your soil test shows adequate Mg, or if your primary issue is nitrogen or potassium, Epsom salt is irrelevant at best and harmful at worst. The liquid provides exactly what the tree lacks in specific scenarios and absolutely nothing the tree needs in others. Matching the supply to the actual biological demand is the difference between a bountiful harvest and a stressed tree. Let's talk about the benefits and the very real risks, because this is where casual gardening advice often fails. When applied correctly to a tree with a verified magnesium or sulfur deficiency, Epsom salt can produce remarkable results. You will see greener, more vibrant foliage as chlorophyll production resumes. Photosynthetic efficiency increases, leading to better sugar accumulation in the fruit. Many growers report that correcting a magnesium deficiency leads to peaches that are not only larger, but significantly sweeter and more aromatic, thanks to improved sulfur-dependent flavor compound synthesis. The tree looks healthier, recovers faster from environmental stress, and sets better buds for the following season. These benefits are real, documented, and repeatable, but only under the right conditions. Now, here is the warning you absolutely must heed. Epsom salt is not benign. Because it is highly soluble, it is incredibly easy to over-apply. Excess magnesium in the soil does not just sit there harmlessly. It actively interferes with the uptake of calcium and potassium. If you pour undiluted Epsom salt or use too strong a concentration, you can create a salt burn effect on fine feeder roots. Peach trees have shallow, sensitive root systems that are easily damaged by osmotic shock. Root burn reduces the tree's ability to take up water and all other nutrients, leading to wilting, leaf scorch, and stunted growth that mimics drought stress. Worse, chronic overapplication can lead to magnesium saturation in the soil exchange complex, creating a long-term imbalance that takes years to correct. There is also the risk of misdiagnosis. Yellowing leaves can indicate nitrogen deficiency, iron deficiency, poor drainage, root rot, or pest damage, not just magnesium deficiency. Treating a nitrogen-deficient tree with Epsom salt wastes time, while the tree continues to decline. Treating a waterlogged tree with Epsom salt adds salt stress to an already suffocating root system. And applying Epsom salt to a tree that already has optimal magnesium levels provides zero benefit while increasing the risk of antagonistic nutrient lockout. The credibility of this practice depends entirely on your willingness to verify need before application. Never use Epsom salt as a preventative tonic or a guess-based remedy. Use it as a precision tool for a diagnosed problem. Respect the chemistry, respect the plant sensitivity, and always err on the side of caution. Your peach tree's health depends on your discipline, not your enthusiasm. If you have confirmed a need and are ready to proceed safely, here is exactly how to prepare and apply Epsom salt water to your peach tree. First, gather your supplies. Pure Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate, with no added fragrances or dyes, a clean bucket or sprayer, measuring spoons, and fresh water. For soil drench application, which is best for addressing chronic deficiencies and building soil reserves, mix 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt per gallon of water. Stir thoroughly until completely dissolved. Undissolved crystals can cause localized salt burns. For a mature standard-size peach tree, apply 2 to 3 gallons of this solution evenly around the drip line, the area directly beneath the outermost branches where feeder roots are most active. Do not pour it against the trunk. The crown is sensitive and major structural roots are less efficient at nutrient uptake. Water the area lightly beforehand if the soil is dry to prevent shock and aid distribution. For foliar application, which provides rapid correction during active growth, use a milder dilution, 1 teaspoon per gallon of water. Add a few drops of mild liquid soap or horticultural oil as a surfactant to help the solution adhere to waxy peach leaves rather than beating up and rolling off. Spray in the early morning or late evening when temperatures are below 80 degrees Fahrenheit and stomata are open. Coat both upper and lower leaf surfaces until runoff begins, focusing on mid-canopy leaves showing symptoms. Avoid spraying flowers directly to protect pollinators. Never exceed these ratios. More is not better, it is dangerous. After application, monitor soil moisture closely. Epsom salt increases soil solution concentration, so ensure adequate irrigation in the following days to prevent osmotic stress. If using soil drench, wait at least 4 weeks before reapplying to allow the tree to respond and to avoid accumulation. For foliar sprays during active deficiency correction, applications can be spaced 2 to 3 weeks apart, with a maximum of 3 treatments per season. Always record your application dates, rates, and observations. Keep notes on weather conditions and tree response. This data becomes invaluable for future seasons. Clean all equipment thoroughly after use to prevent corrosion and cross-contamination. Remember, consistency and precision matter far more than volume. A carefully measured, correctly timed application at the proper dilution will always outperform a haphazard heavy dose. Treat this process with the same respect you would give any agricultural input, and your peach tree will reward your diligence. Timing is everything with Epsom salt, and getting it wrong negates all the careful preparation. There are several conditions under which you should never apply Epsom salt to your peach tree. Do not apply during dormancy. The tree is not actively taking up nutrients, and the salts will simply accumulate in the soil or leach away, wasting product and risking spring toxicity. Do not apply during bloom. The stress of altered soil chemistry or foliar spray can disrupt pollination and fruit set. Avoid application during extreme heat above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, as high evaporation rates concentrate salts on leaf surfaces and in the soil, causing burn. Do not apply to saturated or waterlogged soil. Poor drainage combined with added salts creates toxic anaerobic conditions. Never apply if you have not tested your soil or tissue. Guessing is gambling with your tree's health. The ideal window for soil application is early spring, just as buds begin to swell but before full leaf out. This allows magnesium to integrate into the soil profile and become available as the tree ramps up metabolic activity. A second soil application can be made in early summer during fruit fill if deficiency symptoms appear, but only if spring application was insufficient. For foliar feeding, the optimal timing is during active vegetative growth in late spring through mid-summer, when leaves are fully expanded and photosynthetically active. Morning applications after dew has dried but before peak heat are ideal. Reapplication intervals depend on method and severity. Soil drenches should be spaced at minimum 4 to 6 weeks apart to prevent buildup. Foliar sprays for active correction can be applied every 14 to 21 days, but stop once symptoms resolve or by mid-August to avoid stimulating late-season growth vulnerable to winter injury. Always allow observation periods between applications. Plants need time to metabolize and show response. Rushing reapplication is the most common cause of toxicity. Patience is part of the protocol. Respect seasonal rhythms, watch weather forecasts, and let the tree's physiology, not your calendar, dictate timing. Properly timed, Epsom salt integrates seamlessly into the tree's natural cycles. Poorly timed, it fights against them. So, when will you actually see results? Manage your expectations realistically. This is biology, not magic. For foliar applications addressing visible chlorosis, initial improvement typically appears within 7 to 14 days. New emerging leaves will show deeper green coloration first, as they develop with adequate magnesium from the start. Existing yellowed leaves may partially regain color, but severely damaged tissue often will not fully recover. Focus on new growth as your success indicator. Within 3 to 4 weeks, overall canopy vibrancy should noticeably improve and photosynthetic capacity increases. For soil applications, results take longer because nutrients must dissolve, migrate to root zones, be absorbed, and translocate through vascular tissue. Expect 4 to 6 weeks before visible changes manifest. The improvements will be subtler but more sustainable. Steadier growth, fewer deficiency symptoms in new flushes, and ultimately better fruit quality at harvest. Flavor enhancement from corrected sulfur status won't be apparent until tasting ripe fruit months later. Do not expect overnight transformations. If no improvement appears after 6 to 8 weeks despite correct application, reassess your diagnosis. The problem may not be magnesium-related. Document progress with photos to track gradual changes your eyes might miss day to day. Real plant recovery follows biological timelines, not human impatience. Trust the process, observe carefully, and celebrate incremental progress. Healthy trees respond steadily, not spectacularly. Growing exceptional peaches is a journey of attention, patience, and respect for the living systems in your care. Epsom salt is one tool among many in your orchard toolkit, powerful when needed, unnecessary when not, and harmful when misused. Your willingness to learn the science behind the practice is what separates successful growers from frustrated ones. I hope this deep dive has given you both confidence and caution as you tend your trees. If this helped clarify the Epsom salt question for you, please subscribe and share this with fellow fruit growers who deserve accurate information. Drop a comment below telling me about your peach tree experiences. I read every single one and love learning from this community. Keep growing thoughtfully, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy harvesting!